This podcast is intended for an adult audience over the age of 18. It contains explicit language and sexual situations. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed belong to us and are not representative of any employer, organization, or other individual. We are not experts. This podcast is not intended to be taken as professional advice.
Welcome.
Our safe word is pineapples.
I'm Dan.
I'm Sue.
Come with us as we navigate the lifestyle,
discover kinks,
and share what we've learned along the way.
We want to thank everyone who listened to our first episode.
Yeah, the response and the feedback has been phenomenal across all platforms.
At the end of our first episode, we had our first threesome, and it was so successful, we jumped right into our second threesome, and we continue to play with him to this day.
Yep. He has been a regular for a long time, and it's a connection we made with him. It really is.
Yes. Those connections are very important to us.
Yes.
And we're going to pick up where we left off at the last episode. And this episode will be how we found the swinger community and some of the mistakes we made as we began to explore the lifestyle.
Yeah, at first we didn't know what this was called. We didn't know how to find other people. I mean, I was searching online for non-monogamy, sex with other people besides you.
And you were doing all of the searching.
I do most of the searching.
You continue to do most of the searching, but now,
yeah,
you are the initial contact.
I'm the initial contact, but at the time I was the only contact.
At the time, you were the only contact.
Because
I was not actively participating in finding the other people.
No, and that was actually one of our first big mistakes.
Yes.
And it's something that a lot of people, when they first start off, they do that. One person's the only one that does anything or talks to anyone, and then it's almost like, surprise, there's another person here to have sex with you. And crazy enough, that doesn't work out.
No, it doesn't. And that did lead to a lot of problems we had early on. And it was a huge change that I still have to actively make every time that I need to interact, that I need to make sure that my voice is being
Your voice. Heard. Well, yeah, a lot of people know you from pictures and videos now. They don't. I've had many people claim that you're not my wife. You're some weird porn star that I'm appropriating these videos from,
but not in the beginning.
Not in the beginning. We weren't posting anything in the beginning. I wasn't even on Reddit in the beginning, or FetLife.
Did Reddit exist in 2007?
I have no idea if it did or not. I wasn't on it, so I have no idea. But in our searching, I found swinglifestyle.com, yes. And it's one of the oldest that's been around from what I've gathered, and it shows, if you look at their website, it looks like something from the 90s. But that's where we started, and
we're still on it. We're
still on it. Yeah, we got a lifetime membership to that, so we're still on it. So if you want to find us, we're Dan_Sue on swinglifestyle.com. I will tell you though, we're not going to meet someone who's 2,000 miles away, just because. But yeah, so we found Swing Lifestyle, and that was our first foray into websites and even the swinger community at large.
And determining what we were looking for. Yeah,
one of the first things we had to do was find a name. So I don't even remember what we were at the first. We weren't Dan Sue at the first. We were something else, and
I don't remember either.
Everyone comes up with stupid, weird, nicknames like Hot to Trot 69 or something like that.
So yeah, some of them are unique.
But we came. That's when we first started talking, and we realized that we didn't want to do a fake name. Now, I'm not calling out people who do fake names, and I understand that, but it's just not something that we could do. We've never been.
I wouldn't answer if somebody called me by a name that was not my own. I wouldn't remember. I wouldn't answer. I'd be over there like, "Oh, that's me."
Yeah, we've always been Dan Sue, Dan and Sue, or Dan
Yeah.
Sue in some capacity to that.
And it's when we first discussed our age range, which compared to some people in the lifestyle, we have a very conservative age range. It's only 10 over me.
And 10 under me.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
give or
we,
take. It's always give or take a couple of years
but
on
it's
either
really
end. But for the
only a
most part,
couple years. We're very staunch in
yeah,
playing within the age limits that we set.
that does upset people. That upsets some people. Especially since another thing that kind of sets us apart from the rest of the community is we do still play with single guys. We will find single guys and play with single guys.
Yes,
And we
very much enjoy
we
the
do.
male female male threesome.
It's a lot of fun.
It is right. It is a lot of fun, and we're not again. These are our own
These
our
are
own
yeah,
our own choices. These are
our own
things
preferences.
that we enjoy. But yeah, when we first started looking. We were still looking far away from us.
Oh God, yeah, far away because we were going off of that first threesome, and that first threesome was a 2 hour away. So we were going off that same mentality of if it goes bad, we're not going to see these people later on in the grocery
Right.
store or come into contact with them, or our kids might end up being in the same school or something like that.
There will be no,
There's no interaction outside of it, and that was
and a lot of people. That is the comfort choice that they make for themselves. So it's understandable why we thought that we're not the only ones
no, we're not.
who
But
have this initial thought.
we also we evolved from then. We've gone now into more. Let's find people we can be friends with outside of the bedroom as well as inside the bedroom. When at first it was more like, let's go find people we are compatible with to have sex with. Maybe we see them outside, but if not,
I don't even know that we were putting like we were trying.
we didn't put that
but
much thought into it.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, at
It
least
really
I don't
wasn't.
like that. The very first couple that we played with definitely determined changes that we made moving forward.
Well, we always we do that today. We take whatever we've done or whatever we've gone through with another couple or a single guy, and we evaluate what happened. What was this good? Was this bad? What did we want to change? What do we not want to do again, ever again? And that first couple, this was before the days of Skype. It was before the days of like virtual meetings or anything like that. I mean, sexting was still a big new thing at the time.
Right,
It wasn't
yeah.
really a big crazy thing. So
You still had to work the keyboard. You were
well, for the first time, we really went off of their pictures, like what they were presenting
The
themselves online.
yes, that's all we had to go off of is the pictures that they had posted online and how they were representing themselves on their profile, and it
I did have a
was not 100% accurate.
no. That's when we found out. I mean, it seems like, oh yeah, no shit, people lie on the internet now, but that's when we really found out that people not just lie, but like they will exaggerate or they will kind of cover up
Hide.
stuff and hide stuff that they don't want people to know. But I mean, I did have a phone call with them. I don't remember if you were on that or not. I don't think you were.
No, I don't think I was. I think I saw the pictures, and again, at this point, I didn't have a full understanding of what I needed to have a good time.
I don't think either of us did because we were
Yeah.
just going off of like we had a successful threesome and then we had
We're-
another one with my best friend and we're gonna keep going with him because he's fun. He's a lot of fun to play with.
Right, he's fantastic. And again,
So we were having those successful threesomes with him because of that connection we made with him, and we
Right.
had that prior connection, and we all knew each other, and we work really well together. So we were going off of that.
yes, we were going off of that, but we were also going off of, I would say, societal standards for hooking up. And neither you or I are hookup people. It
No, neither
that
of us
was-
is hookup people.
we know that now, but we didn't really know that then.
No, that's the thing that a lot of the new people that talk to me that ask me how you get into this and what happens is a lot of it's based on stereotypes from older swingers or how they viewed the swinging community either through media of like a video or movie or something like that or
Mm-hmm.
porn. And that's not always, it's rarely accurate from what I can gather
Yeah.
for them.
Yes.
So we were going off that whole notion and we made the plans. We made those plans and it was a 3-hour drive for us because we were,
Yeah.
oh God, we were
Right.
like, yes, 3 hours, sure. Why the hell not?
Why not?
You know,
we were young and stupid. We
young
got
and
the
stupid.
babysitter, and they were willing to host us.
They were willing to host us. We got the babysitter.
Yeah, we weren't paying for a hotel.
Drove 3 hours to do this. Met them at their house, and
They were
not what they portrayed themselves to be.
not
They
fully.
They weren't like horrible. I've heard crazy horror stories about.
This isn't like a horror story.
It was a horror story. It's just that we weren't compatible when we didn't realize that, you know, through the meager interactions we had beforehand, we just weren't compatible with them. So we started off, and it was, I think, in their living room. We started with like the oral sex, and then you moved off into the bedroom with him.
Thought we were in the bed at the same time.
Well, eventually we were. We were originally separate because I was on the couch with her going for the oral, and she, for whatever reason, and this come to find out later on that they were having issues in their relationship. Surprise. She was actively avoiding or trying to not have an orgasm. She was
the whole night.
Yeah, it was really weird, and that's one of the things that for men, it's one of the things that lets them know that they're doing okay, they're doing a good job, is, you know, when the woman comes, if she's going to come, I did it. I did something right. I know, you know, that kind of thing. And because she was actively avoiding this, my levels of arousal and my insecurities started coming out because...
Yeah, and it was distracting even for me. Like, that's how actively she was avoiding it that I could notice, and it's
because of that so this is where we really figured out that we don't like playing separately. I like being in the room with you. You like being in the room with me.
We like to make sure that we're both having a good time. If one of us is not having a good time, it affects
the enjoyment level of the other person.
Yeah.
So you were in the other room with him, and because she was not actively participating essentially in the sex, we decided, well, we're going to join them and see how this goes. And she made no effort. Like, no effort. I'm not a tall man.
No.
I am 5'4".
Neither
and
of us
she
is
was
tall.
She was close to 6 feet tall. And she had heels on. And she made no effort whatsoever to accommodate my height. So any position we got into was just awkward.
Mm-hmm.
It was like she wouldn't even deal with that. It was just like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, and then you figure it out. And I felt like a chihuahua humping, you know, the Great Dane. Like, it's,
oh my God.
It's just not... I couldn't get anywhere near for any sort of like position. I'm standing on the bed and stuff
I didn't quite have that problem, but he was making me do all the work. He essentially just like,
and then
sat back, and
you know, then it was done. So it wasn't terrible sex. I've had worse, but it was very, very lackluster sex. Yeah. And it was late. It was 3 a.m. by the time we all finished.
Late or super early, however you look at it.
We were like, hey, can we just kind of crash on your couch for a little bit? Just because I'm exhausted, I'm tired. And they kicked us out. You know, you got to leave. You got to get out.
Right now.
So we had a 3-hour drive home.
Yep. And the sun was up by the time we turned on our street.
I barely made it home.
And we agreed to never do that again.
Never do that again. And we did. We did start bringing in
Our
our
search radius.
search radius. Our search radius became smaller. We were
And being a lot more, and because our search radius became smaller, and because
where we live.
Because of where we live, but because hotels are expensive, and
Oh, God,
our
yeah.
budget was very small at the time.
3 kids, and I was out of school. I had a full-time job, but it wasn't paying all that much. And
I was part-time.
You were part-time, and
so we were looking at the fact that we would be hosting people in our own home, and we wanted to be very careful about who we brought in.
Yeah, and I think that's where it really started to influence that we want people that we are comfortable with, both inside the bedroom and outside the bedroom.
Yes.
I think the way I've described it before to people is I want to be able to invite you over the house and it's not weird or awkward in front of like my kids. Like we're just hanging out at the house, we're having a barbecue, and it's not like a weird, awkward situation. I mean, we've come to get that with the people we play with now in our group that we play with now, but it took time. It wasn't right off the bat.
It wasn't a right off the bat. It was hard finding another couple that we were like, okay, this is, the one we're gonna try with next. It was quite some time. I think we spent more time having threesomes because it's
a lot of time with my best friend. We did a lot of threesomes with my best friend. Yeah, and we did try every once in a while a couple of other guys, and even then, that's where we learned that not just couples,
right?
But guys, single guys are lying as well. And this is for any single guys that are listening out there. Don't lie.
Don't lie.
Just tell it like it is. You have no experience. Fine. You have no experience. We can work with that. You have experience. Awesome. Let's do that. We're going to work with that. But we had one guy that he talked himself up and he sounded legit. He had experience with couples and threesomes and he was all set to go. And he seemed like a super nice guy. And I think we both talked to him on the phone. We both talked to him on the phone.
He was very nice.
There were no red flags.
Yes, there were no red flags.
And he came over and I don't even know. I don't think you were naked yet. Like, I think you might have been topless.
No, I wasn't fully naked.
I think you were topless when he came over.
At most. And 2 minutes.
That's being generous.
No, it was 2 minutes. I remember that very specifically.
Like
it was
2
minutes. He came in 2 minutes, possibly under 2 minutes.
I feel like it was under 2 minutes because
that being said, so while both of us were a little surprised at how fast he came, I wasn't upset. It's a threesome. I had another dick to play with.
Well, there was no nervousness. We understand people get nervous, and there's excitement and a build up and everything like that. I mean, even me.
There's time to recover.
Even me now. There's times we get with another couple or something like that, and I'm like, God damn, I'm
right. Exactly. So like, there's time, but he didn't.
No, he walked out.
He came and he left.
He came and he was like, "Thanks for the time. I'm going. Goodbye." Just left. It was.
Well, there was definitely some embarrassment on his end at how quickly he came.
A lot of guys are embarrassed by how quickly they come, and it happens.
Exactly, it happens.
One of the good things about like a threesome or even like a group setting is, you come. There's other cocks to deal with. You can, reevaluate. Take a minute. Go get some water. Go to the bathroom.
Right. You can relax. There is time to recover, but no, he was right out the door. So
right out the door, and
we had to finish on our own.
Oh God, the horrors! Having to have sex with you? Oh, geez. I love you so much. But so we've had, and then from there, like finding other couples was not easy. It was
not.
Well, one of our caveats is we don't like smokers, and a lot of that's because of your allergies, and I don't like asthma. Smokers at all. And we did have a lot of people that, and we still do today, that the whole, we should go get drinks now and get a hotel tonight.
And we don't drink, and we were being much more cautious about, we were not, and we still don't, we will not play like immediately.
We don't play on the first date. No. So I want to meet you somewhere non-sexually. Either it's a virtual meeting or it's a dinner or something like that. I want to meet you somewhere non-sexually first, and then from there we plan our first date. I don't want to meet up and then go into a hotel that night, especially when you talk about cost of hotels. I mean, there's just, are we splitting this hotel? Are you getting dinner? Am I getting the hotel? How is that going to work? And then I'm just not comfortable with people that easily.
No, and I am nowhere near comfortable
Oh
with
no, you're
people
not. So
that quickly. It takes quite a bit longer.
we took a long time finding other couples. I think we only had like 2 other couples we played with.
Quite possibly. I'm not.
There was one couple we worked really well with, and that was the black couple.
We only got to play with them.
But we only got to play with them once. But I also think that, because I talked to her a little bit afterwards, I think that, and I mean, this is something that comes up a lot, and it's not necessarily a jealousy thing, but I was able to do things with her that she wasn't able to do with her husband, mainly due to, like, I get really hard.
You get very hard.
Which I've been accused of, like, using Viagra and all that stuff.
No,
And I don't. I tried Viagra once, and all I got was a headache, and that did not help anything at all. In fact, I got soft because, migraines aren't good for arousal.
Who
would have thought?
Yeah.
But because of that, she wanted to explore other things. And I think talking to her, he ended up getting kind of jealous of that, because she was also talking to me on her own, and he shut it all down from there. I mean, she was talking about possibly trying anal and everything like that, and I was like, well, I've never done that, but I'm not against it. And he shut, like, they didn't necessarily ghost us, but they kind of did, and then it was gone from there. Like, that was
no, because I remember,
and they were a great couple.
They really were, because I remember a little bit of talking to them after, and I know the other husband and I were in agreement that we all wanted to play together, because she was talking about you and her possibly playing.
She was talking about me and her play, and I was like,
and I do remember the other husband and I were both like, no, we all play together, we don't play.
Yeah, that's And again, at the time, I still wasn't fully sure about them playing separately or together. I didn't know. We didn't know how to navigate this stuff.
No, it was very much a learn as we go, and
well, some people are like, so you go off on, you date each other, you date this other person or something like that from another part of the couple, or you can go off and play with him and I'll stay home tonight or something.
Yeah,
and that doesn't work for us.
That does not work for us. And we did do some minor experimenting with, like, playing separately. And every time we have attempted anything even quasi separate, we come back from it and are like, really wished you were there.
It's so much better when you're there.
Right?
So that was that couple. And we only played with them once, unfortunately. They were a very nice couple, and I really wish we were able to move past that and just get better communication. Because again, it always comes down to communication.
Mm-hmm.
We all were not communicating correctly with each other and together.
Right.
I think if we were, we would have moved forward with them a little bit more. But I also think they moved too. I think they moved, like, to Washington or something, like cross country or something like that.
We're not traveling cross country to meet people. That's expensive.
That's expensive. If we happen to meet people when we do cross country, that's different. Right? But we're not doing it specifically to go meet people. But the other couple, which was actually a fairly good match for us.
For the most part, yeah. It really was. And it definitely at this point, I mean, you and I were also struggling to communicate
with each other.
Yeah.
This is the beginnings of us starting to communicate poorly, like non-communication between us. There was a lot going on in our lives, And I don't think you were pregnant yet.
No, I was not
But
pregnant with our fourth child yet.
when we met them.
No.
But that did come into play as well. And
Yes.
I mean,
and
we'll talk about that next time, because that's a very hard conversation that I want to have with you. And, you know, that'll be showcasing the bad.
yes,
Like, there is... swinging is awesome, and I love swinging. I love being non-monogamous with you, but
I would, right? Everybody should be swingers, but
so many people try to portray this as like sunshine and rainbows, and try to like gloss over or hide the fact that there are pitfalls, there are cons to this, there are things that can happen.
right. If there are any cracks in your relationship, swinging will find them and blow them open.
Yeah.
And if you don't make the effort to repair those problems, to have a strong foundation, then swinging is going to destroy your relationship.
I always tell people that are up and coming or they're having issues, I go, you have to make sure that your core relationship is rock solid. Like, it has to be, nothing can touch this.
And every time we've fumbled, or every time more than fumbled, we've always taken a step back. We've always stepped back from swinging, and we always put ourselves first. And that's
You have to.
incredibly important to the foundation of our relationship.
But so we met this other couple, and they were local, which was nice.
Yes.
So we could go to their place, and they could come to our place.
And they also had small kids, and the same with the black couple. They also had small kids, and they were local. And these were things that like we could all like bond on.
We all bonded on like the fact that, hey, we're parents, and you know, we had the same issues and
the same things that we wanted.
I like telling people it's fun being a swinger and having friends that are also swingers that we play with or that are also in the lifestyle, because we can sit down and have a conversation with them, and we could go from, so work today was, you know, crap. We had this problem and this problem at work. Like, so I was blowing this guy yesterday. And then we had the same conversation, and it just flows naturally, and there's no, you know, no embarrassment or anything like that. We can have all kinds of crazy
discuss every topic,
and
nothing's off the table.
Nothing's off the table.
It's I definitely enjoy our swinging friendships.
It's very freeing to not have to have that embarrassment. But this other couple, well, they worked well. We talked to them a couple of times. We met them. We had dinner with them, I believe, a couple of times. And
we did family things together. Like, our kids met their kids. It was...
Yeah, it looked like it was going great.
It was fantastic. It was going
going fantastic. Everything was going good. But, you know, come to find out, they had cracks in their relationship that they were not addressing.
And we had
cracks in our relationship that we were not addressing. And so we ended up, you know, playing with them a couple of times, and it was fun times. He was also my first real foray into having some sort of bisexual play.
Was it him? And it wasn't...
No, it wasn't my friend. That was afterwards.
That was afterwards.
That was afterwards. But he was the first time. Well, also, it was also the first time where I had any sort of bisexual play in front of you. So that's a difference as well.
And definitely the first time with another couple.
Yeah. And that's when I also realized that I'm not a huge fan of getting blowjobs from another guy. I don't know why. Listen, for whatever reason, other guys so far, like, I'm not saying there aren't any out there that would be awesome with a blowjob, but like, I can't. I every time it happens, I either get a blowjob or a hand job from another guy. I always feel like, do you not have a penis yourself? Do you not know how this works? Because I'll get like a hand job and they'll grasp me like they got that oh shit handle in the car when you're in the like they're holding on for dear life. They're gonna they tear it off my body. And I have to go, whoa, calm down there, you know?
Right. At the same time, a lot of your experiences have also been with guys who are looking to have their first experience.
Yes, this is why
And
I will consider myself at times the safe gay, because due to my height, I'm 5'4". I am 175 pounds, but I don't look 175 pounds, so I'm a short, rather average to kind of thin guy. So I think these guys see me as non-threatening.
right, which is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
But I mean, in recent times, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't want to be with anyone who's curious. Just please, like, let's have some experience here. But
Right? I don't want to be your first experience.
I've also like, this is where they get. I've told you before, the whole like, the blowjobs from these guys are what I. It's like a suckling baby cow. That's where it's really. Like the whole dick goes in their mouth, and they just start making this weird noises, where they go, I go, please stop! Like it is not arousing in any way, shape, or form. And this goes for you too. Like you feel the same way. The guy should not be losing his erection during a blowjob. If that's happening, there's a problem.
Something's wrong. You need to
readjust.
Readjust
On that.
Do something different.
But again, they were a super nice couple. They came over our place a couple times. They came to our place, I believe. Mm-hmm. And, you were actually getting friendly with her. You were hanging out. You were going shopping. I think you went shopping once or twice with her.
Yeah, we did. We were connecting over books.
Connecting over books, yeah. Because you read your porn novels, which are romance.
Yeah, the porn mans, yes.
The porn mans.
And I read other stuff too.
Yeah, I know you read other stuff too.
They were like
science fiction,
right?
Yeah,
science
fiction,
common fantasy.
With very common.
Yes, and she was also reading those science fiction and fantasy epics.
I do believe the first time we realized there might be a crack in their relationship would be when he was in the military. He was in the military, so he was going away at one point, and she was going to be home, and they were talking about the couples that she would be allowed to play with while he was gone, and we were one of them.
And then there was another one.
And there was another couple.
Who was very clearly outside her preferences that she and I had discussed many times. And it was shocking to me that
her husband,
who should be aware of her preferences, had limited her to a couple that she would not play with. They were outside.
Well, I think that was the reason why he limited her to that couple, is because he knew that she would not play with them. She wasn't going to go play with them on her own at all.
Yes, but that's a huge mistake.
It is a huge mistake. I love you. I don't take ownership of you, but I love you. I want to protect you, and you are my wife.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you are my wife, but if I was comfortable with someone, and we were both comfortable with someone, and it got to a point where maybe you ended up being alone with them or something like that, it wouldn't bother me. But just seeing that showed that he had some major insecurities that he was not addressing with her. Mm-hmm. I mean, later on, talking to them afterwards, well, at least talking to him afterwards, it really came about that he might be more gay than he was letting on. I mean, their insecurity, their issues ended up actually in their divorce. I mean, there was probably more to it. We didn't get into that, their entire relationship with them, what was going on. But I know that the swinging itself did not help that at all. It really helped to push them apart.
Right. One of those major issues being what they were looking for out of it, and they weren't compromising or connecting on what they wanted their experiences to be. And we've learned from that as well.
We have learned from that. There's a lot of couples that I've either talked to or I've read questions and comments about, and they'll be having relationship issues and they'll say, what if we open our relationship up? Will this help? We think this will help. If, we're not having great sex at home. Let's open our relationship up and have great sex with other people, and that will inform
right.
having great sex with each other. Now,
and that's not how that works. I'm very much for myself and for you. We are very aware that these couples exist in the swinging community, and we're always kind of on the lookout for them, because if you're having bad sex at home, having sex outside of your marriage does not guarantee good sex. You are the only one that can guarantee that your sex will be good.
Well, that also
and you take yourself with you.
That also breeds jealousy. So if you jealousy is always on the table for any sort of. I mean, I still every once in a while I'll feel jealousy towards another guy when maybe you have some mind-blowing orgasm I've never seen you have or something like that. There's a little bit of that jealousy that creeps into that and goes, oh, yeah, I wish I could do that. But at the end of the day, I go, she's coming back to me. So you might have been able to get that one-time orgasm, but I'm getting her orgasms left and right every other day.
All the time. You are still the best oral that I have ever had.
I do my best. It helps being tongue-tied.
It does help being tongue-tied.
I can give you all the pressure.
The pressure.
But yes, that kind of breeds the jealousy if you're having sex with someone outside of your relationship and your relationship is not solid with your partner. So, say you and I went off and I had sex with someone else and it was mind-blowing sex and it was awesome, and then what happens from what I've seen in those relationships is that they start talking to that person on their own, and they start pulling away from their other, their significant other, and that's where you get those cracks, and that's where it starts forming into a chasm. And we don't do that. We talk. This is why we talk.
Yeah, because we've made
the mistake.
We've made that mistake,
and I mean, I'm not going to go into it now because that's a long conversation with you.
Yes,
but that was a big mistake, and it really sucked to have at the same time as this other couple. And from there, once we did that, that's when we took our break. We took a long break.
We did take a long break.
It was a couple years.
It was a couple years.
Because you got to work on yourselves. I'm down for working on me. I'll help you work on yourself. Whatever we do, it's constant communication. And there's people that are surprised at constant. I tell them constant. They go, really constant? It's constant. I'm always talking to you about stuff.
We are always talking to each other about stuff. And we're also, I think, individually examining ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm constantly examining myself and examining why I've reacted a certain way. And I've learned so much more about myself. And some of the stuff is so stupidly obvious, being allergic to semen, which will be its own discussion.
Yeah. Allergies is a fun thing, but you've had trauma in your past, and that came out at random times.
Yes, which was another reason why we were always trying to be very careful about who we were inviting into our relationship, because I can't be 100% sure what will trigger a trauma response.
Your trauma responses have definitely gone down significantly. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the people we're with. We're all very comfortable together, and it's not a new person situation. But every time we end up with a new person, I'm constantly on the aware of the possibility of that trauma just sneaking out there. Because you'll go from having a really great time to
not
practically in tears, curled up in a ball somewhere. So I have to be, and I wasn't like this at first. because I didn't know what to look for. But I have to be constantly vigilant of the subtle changes in how you're interacting with someone else all the time, even when you're not consciously
Mm-hmm.
checking that. So I've become, and this goes back to it's so awesome how much our kinks and our fetishes and our what we enjoy complements each other. Is that you being more of an exhibitionist and me being slightly more of a voyeur, I can kind of stand outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
And because I enjoy watching you, I can watch you. And over the years, I've really gotten to know your subtle changes and, stuff like I'll go over to you now and be like, do you need a break or something like that? We can take a break, take a stop for a minute or something like that. And
Yes.
you'll be right there and you'll go, yes, I need a break. We're going to take a break now. And there's many times I don't even think you realize it in the moment that you do need a break or you need to take a minute or something like that.
Yeah. No, I have gotten better at recognizing some of what will trigger me. I can't be 100% sure it won't just pop up.
Yeah. And that's terrifying. It's actually terrifying when it does happen. And I have to assure you and I have to assure everyone else around. Usually it's with other guys, but I have to assure them it's not you. It's okay. It wasn't you. Just something happened. It could be anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
you hit the wrong spot inside of her and it just boom, it triggered this to happen. Or, when you went to smack her ass, it just so happened that that exact moment was somewhere in her mind was thinking something else and that's what triggered it. And, you know, and that's another reason why, I like the people we go through a lot of vetting now for single guys and couples. And it's something I think a lot of people need to start doing more of. And I do see it in the community where I see less and less of the whole, we're just going to go to a bar and just meet up with some random person and then take them up to the hotel room. And I see more and more people going, I want to have a meeting with you first. I want to
Right.
see who you are.
Right. Well, and I think part of the change we're seeing in that is that we can be a lot more open about the fact that like just meeting and hooking up with a random stranger is less what the community about and more someone's specific kink.
Yeah. That's a specific, and that's your kink. That's fine. Like that's what you do you.
Exactly.
There really is,
But we
there's
need
no right way to do swinging, but there are wrong ways to do it. So if your kink is going out to a bar and picking up some random guy and going to a hotel, fine, do that. That's you. You do that. Please stay safe. Everyone stay safe. Condoms always, especially for brand new people. But that's not us. We don't like bars. I am not one for meeting new people. I mean, I only had a handful of girlfriends before you. I was not really the one that was like trying to get more dates or anything like that. I just didn't know how to do it. I still don't know how to do it. The only reason I know how to talk to people is because I just start talking. It
right,
just
yes.
happens.
Yeah, and I don't talk to anyone.
You don't talk to anyone. You just
Takes me a little while to get there.
I'm pretty sure if you sat at a bar waiting for someone to come hit on you, you would just kind of like curl up into yourself if anyone came near you.
Quite possibly. Well, there's also the fact that like I do not like the smell of alcohol on someone.
No.
So picking someone up in a bar is the last place. Absolute last
place you want to be. But yeah, so it's nice to see that there's a movement away from that. And the community at large is really talking more about safety than I've seen before. They're really talking about making sure you're getting your tests, your STI tests, making sure you're using condoms, making sure that you're comfortable with these people. And I believe that is not just for our sake, for everyone's sake, but it's also to help with the perception of swinging.
Yes.
The perception of swinging is it's a taboo. It's, dirty people do this, non-moral people do this. They're the ones that are just going out and fucking anyone they can find, and they have no qualms. Any
Right, no
dick will do,
standards.
just whatever, they want to do that. And that seems to be changing, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing, and I do see that shift as it goes. But I think for today, we'll stop for today for this episode, and then we can move on. Next episode is going to be a difficult one. It's going to be a tough one.
It is.
But
we'll have to decide where to start with that.
We will still start with that. It's something that I personally believe that I need to get out there, and other people need to hear and need to understand why, because that's...
It is. I think it's super important to go over these things, because again, a lot of people, swingers want more swingers. We want this for everyone, but in the effort to make it sound as good as it can be, we do tend to forget that there are problems.
Yeah.
Things can go wrong. Things can go very wrong.
Yeah, so that episode is going to be... It's going to be interesting for me to get that out there. It's going to be interesting for you too. So that's where we'll end today. And hopefully we hear you hear us again, and you come back for the third episode. It's been fantastic talking to you guys. Hey everyone, thanks for coming along with us on our journey. We really enjoy talking to anyone who's interested in this topic. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, don't forget to rate us and give us a good review. Also, tell your friends, tell anyone you think might be interested. It really helps us out and helps this podcast grow. As always, we appreciate you.